Welcome back, Leo Lions. This is Mrs. Morgan with today's lesson on solving equations by combining like terms. So the first part of this should be review. At the beginning here, our number one, we're going to be talking about like terms. And we talked about like terms earlier this year when we did the distributive property. So like terms have two important things in common. And those two important things are in this dotted box here with the stars. So the two things, like terms must have the same variable, and then they also must have the same exponent on that variable. So the same variable raised to the same power. So if we see the variable x, 3x and a minus 7x, those can be combined. If we see 3x and maybe minus 7x squared, well, it has a different power, so those are not like terms, okay? A variable that has no coefficient, so let's just give an example here. If we saw the variable x, or we saw plus x, minus x, if there's no coefficient in front, it always has a coefficient of 1, okay? Terms take the operation symbol, so the plus or the minus sign in front of the number. So if there's a plus sign, it's positive. If there's a minus sign, it's negative. Okay? And then lastly, constants, so numbers that are all by themselves with no variable on them, those are also like terms that we can combine. So all of that should be review. So if we're looking at this expression here, remember we went through, we underlined like terms. There we go. So 3x and negative 5x, those can combine. 3 minus 5 or 3 plus negative 5, it's the same thing. So that would be negative 2x. And then you can either do a different color or you could do different shapes to show 2y, positive 2y, minus y. And remember, there's really a 1 here. So 2 minus 1 is positive 1, so we could write it as plus 1y, or 1y is the same thing as y. So negative 2x plus y is the exact same thing as that first expression we started with. It's just shorter. Okay, same thing over here. So we talked about the powers. So negative 6x squared, negative 2x squared, those are like terms. The 3x is not a like term because it doesn't have a power of 2 on the variable. So we can only combine the negative 6x squared, the negative 2x squared. They're both negatives, so we add them, keep the sign. So negative 8x squared. Then we can go to the x's. So we have a positive 3x, and there are no other x's in there. So we can't combine the 3x with anything. It just stays in the expression. And then lastly, we have a positive 9, a positive 3. Those are constants. We can combine those to positive 12. So negative 8x squared plus 3x plus 12 is the exact same thing. Okay? Now, in order to solve an equation with like terms, we want to make sure that we combine the like terms first. And we can only combine like terms that are on the same side. We follow the signs in front when they're on the same side of that equal sign. So after that, we solve the equation like we've been taught in class. So then solve the equation using the properties of equality, which means if we see addition, then we undo that by doing the opposite and do subtraction. If we see multiplication, we do the opposite and do division. So we undo the equation to get the variable by itself. So here's where that equal sign, it's important. If you use that line, great. If you don't worry about it. But our x is on the left side. So we want to get that variable by itself. That's our goal. Okay, before we begin, on the left side, we have a 4x and a 2x, so we can combine those to 6x. Okay, the 4 we can't do anything with. The plus 4, there's no other constants on that side, so it stays as it is. Once we combine like terms, well, then we have a two-step equation. So we have the 6 and the 4 to get rid of. Get rid of the constant first, so the opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. So that 4 goes away. Again, I'm going to simplify. All we have left is 6x on the left side. And then negative 32 minus 4 is negative 36. Okay, last step, this means 6 times x, so the opposite, we are going to divide both sides by 6. 6 divided by 6, that's how we get our 1x. And then negative 36 divided by 6 is negative 6. Okay, now to check our work for this, excuse me, I had a sneeze there. So 4x plus 2x plus 4, so we go back to the original equation and we do 4 times. We've got our answer, x is negative 6, and then plus 2, we replace the x again, and then plus 4, and we solve this using order of operations. So negative 24 is 4 times negative 6. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, and then we have that plus 4. So negative 24 minus 12 is negative 36. Negative 36 plus 4 is negative 32, and let's double check that is what we started with. We know our answer is correct. Okay? Next problem, the exact same procedure, so look on the two sides of the equal sign. If we can combine anything on one side, then we can do that. So negative 6x, negative 8x, those can combine to negative 14x. The plus 3, again, the constant doesn't have anything to combine with, so it stays, and then equals 10. So I rewrote the equation just combining the like terms, okay? Now, our goal, we want to get x by itself on the left side, so we have the negative 14, the positive 3 to get rid of, so get rid of the constant first. 3 minus 3 is how we got rid of that, and we have negative 14x equals 7. Okay, get rid of the negative 14 by dividing. Make sure you take the negative sign with it. That way a negative divided by negative, we get a positive of x. Okay, divide by negative 14 on the right side. Now notice, guys, be careful, there's a 7 on top. So 7 divided by negative 14. I see errors where, oh, we see 14 and 7, so we think it's 2. It doesn't work because the 7 is first or in the numerator. So it is going to be negative, and we can keep it as a fraction. We can keep it as negative 7/14, but we are going to simplify because both of these numbers can be divided by 7. So we can simplify this to negative 1/2 or negative 0.5, same thing. Okay? And again, we could take the time, check our work. So negative 6x, so negative 6 times negative 1/2 plus 3 minus 8 times, again, our x was negative 1/2. So multiply first, negative times a negative is a positive, half of 6 is 3, plus 3. Then negative 8, negative 1/2, so a negative times a negative is a positive, and then half of 8 is 4. So 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 gives us 10, and that is what was in our original equation, so we know our answer is correct. Okay, so there's a couple examples. Let's look, I'm going to do 2 more, and then I'm going to let you finish the notes this time. So make your line just simply to show, hey, here's the 2 separate sides of that balance scale of our equal sign. So on the left side, we do have like terms. It may be possible we have like terms on the right side. We haven't had that scenario, but it is possible we can combine. They just have to be on the same side in order to combine them. So 12g equals negative 48. Now we have a one-step equation. We want to get g by itself, so divide by 12, divide by 12. All right, negative 48 divided by 12 is negative 4. Okay, and again, 3g, so 3 times negative 4, plus 9 times negative 4, and we'll see if that goes back to the original equation. So I'm going back and just checking my work. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 9 times negative 4 is a negative 36. So I'm using those signs in front and simplifying the signs, and then negative 12 minus 36. We're going to go backwards, more negative, and add the numbers. So negative 48, and that is what was in, that's what was in that original equation. We know we're right. Okay, I'm going to do this one with fractions. Don't let the fractions intimidate you. The process does not change, and we just work with fractions. So we have y's on the left side, so we can combine those to 7y plus 1/2 equals negative 1/2. Okay, our goal is still to get y by itself, and we have two numbers we need to get rid of, the 7 and the 1/2. So we get rid of the constant first, the negative 1/2, or the positive 1/2, so we subtract 1/2. And that's how the 1/2 goes away. And we just have 7y equals, I'm going to scoot this y down a little bit, give myself some room. Now, negative 1/2 minus 1/2. If it helps to write it horizontally right next to it, okay, remember that our rules would be same, change, change. So same, change, change. Now they're both negative, so we know we need to add them. They already have common denominators. So 2 over 2, and then we keep it negative, and then 2 over 2 can simplify to negative 1. Oops. Simplifies to a whole number. And for some reason, I feel like I'm making an error. So I'm double checking my work here. And then to get rid of our 7, we will need to divide by 7, divide by 7. So y equals negative 1/7. Okay? And I'm checking my work because for some reason I just feel like this is wrong. But it looks all correct to me. We could check our work. So 5 times negative 1/7 plus 2 times negative 1/7, and then plus 1/2. And we want to see if that comes out to negative 1/2. So negative 5/7. Again, this is going to be a negative because a positive 2 times our negative 1/7. So minus 2/7 plus 1/2. So same change, change again. So we'll end up adding them. Negative 7 over 7, which is the same thing as negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1/2 does equal negative 1/2. So I was right. So I questioned myself, but if we go and check our work, then we see that is a correct answer. Okay, like I said then, I'm going to let you try out the last 4 and then see, we'll go over those